What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe, of course, and I'm about to drop you 5 setups, 5 updates. Okay, so we're updating Loki Prime today. We're updating Frost Prime. We're updating Oberon. I'm going to show you my most recent Rhino Prime setup that I used in that 80-100 mission run that I was asked to show that. I'm going to show you my latest Zephyr setup. The Rhino Prime and the Zephyr setup, of course, are 100% subject to change. I should say anything is subject to change at any time, but this is basically post 18 and how I've used them. And I've used both the Rhino and the Zephyr now inside of the high-level missions to my satisfaction, just as they currently are. Okay, and those are the 5 frames that each have different focus lenses on them right now. Actually, I should say 6 because my Itzal's got a Matter Eye lens on it as well. So maybe I'll show you the Itzal as well, because I've never showed you that. I'll show you that setup on here as well. Okay, so we'll do 6. We'll do 6. So let's start out with Loki Prime here. First off, Loki Prime, of course, I've got the Arcane Essence helmet. People think it's ugly looking. That's fine. You can think it's as ugly as it is, but it gives me a 15% power efficiency right off the bat, even though it reduces my armor. I'll take the extra power efficiency. We get into the upgrades. We have made some changes here, so we're going to use Energy Siphon still. We're keeping that. We're going to put Cunning Drift in here. We're going to get a plus slide, minus friction, which means I'm lighter than air, more or less, and more power range, so plus 15% power range. Fits me perfectly on here. Keeping just the Vitality. In terms of range, we've got Overextended on here and this, right? So we've got that little over 100% range now, so plus 15% power range, plus 90% there, and that's going to give us 151% power range here. Okay, we're keeping Prime Continuity at 50%, Narrow-Minded still at 81% minus the 54% range. That's how we only get 151% range, but 151% range is perfect with our Irritating Disarm, and I said it how I say it. Deal with it if you don't like how I say it. Hushed Invisibility. These 2 augment mods you guys know have stayed with me on Loki for a while now, and we're adding in a 20% rush sprint speed because I have no extra points and I have not formed Loki Prime. So this is possible to be done without putting a forma into Loki Prime. And of course, Prime Flow giving me the 700 power pull. So 231 duration gives me about 25 seconds. That's more than perfect. And I'm going to be utilizing this Narrowmon as we get farther down the road. So the Narrowmon is on Loki Prime right now. We'll talk about in future videos where I think certain focus lenses fit better on different frames, basically to fit my style. But Narrowmon goes on here because I needed to rank it up somehow, and I felt that this would be perfect for Loki in my ultimate setup as it is. We're not worried about power strength at all. That's not our big feature here, so we can kill a power strength. That's it. Loki Prime setup. Comments, questions on that, please do feel free to leave them below. Obviously subject to change. They're all subject to change. Okay, so then I said we were going to talk about Oberon and Frosty as well. And let's go Frost Prime here. Okay, I've made a couple changes to Frost Prime. Just take a look at what he's set up as. So he's got the Xeneric on here in terms of the focus lens. Energy Siphon. We're going to use Power Drift to get extra 15% strength and a 30% chance to resist knockdown. We did have the short-footed, the 60% on here, but I felt I wanted to increase his strength up a bit, and as you can see, we're up to a 210% now with my new change over here. Prime Flow, Intensify with a 50% Transient Fortitude. I did rank that up a little bit higher. We're going to take off some of the duration of our build, but that's okay. That is going to still work out well for us in terms of how that is. So we've got Transient Fortitude, Intensify, and Power Strength, pretty much giving us that beautiful, beautiful increase there. Stretch is going to give us some range. We want to increase the bubble now. I felt like I wanted to increase the bubble. It's also going to help me increase some of his other abilities. I'm keeping Redirection on here. That's my favorite ability for here because it's a beautiful shield ability. We're cranking up the Steel Fiber and the Armored Agility. I did rank this up a little bit. I'm 1 below max rank. As you can see, I got 1 point left on Frosty with his 5 forma setup. That will max this armor and that will increase my Snow Globe a little bit better. I cannot stress to you, I cannot live without my Chilling Globe. This thing has come in handy so many hundreds of times, and this thing has been a beautiful scent when it hits, when I go and play in pubs. I always get comments like, oh, thank God you got the chilling globe on. Dude, if you, yeah, I mean, you're going to give up a little bit of globe strength to have something that's going to suit you in any type of mission right here. I mean, this even freezes infested, so it's always a good thing. So we're going to keep that. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of where he sits, so that way you understand. In his abilities, we see we've brought the area damage to 315. The damage itself is a 735 on freeze. I love using the freeze. It's a great quick hit and move and kill. Our duration's at 11.25 seconds. That keeps them frozen for that long. That also puts that on the ground. Remember, if you freeze hit the ground, you set up an area on the ground as well. The enemies come through, it slows them down. Okay, so that's important to have a little duration there, especially when you're trying to block a crowded area that they're coming in a doorway or something like that. Because if you have no duration in this setup, then you can't block that area and you can just get killed more or less with a whole heavy load of enemies coming at you. Ice wave, of course, we've got the angles now up to 60, damage is up to 1470. Our wave length has been increased from 20 to 29, so it's not a big difference, but it is a big enough difference. And our wave width has been increased to 435 meters instead of what would be 3 meters, so I'm happy with that. Our ability radius here on the snow globe is up to a 29 now with a 15,067 health pool. We can get this higher. We're going to bring it up just a little bit more when I max rank the steel fiber. I know, 3 years, never max rank steel fiber. But we'll get that maxed up just a little bit. Our slow is 67%, and our time invulnerable is 4 seconds for the first 4 seconds with that. But I'm happy with this. I know you can bring this up higher if you're really willing to, but at the cost of something else, we're going to keep it just as it is. It's more than efficient. It works for me. Avalanche armor reduction is at 84% when we use this, which is always nice. We got a 3150 damage. Explosions 840. Our explosion radius is 6.53 meters. Our duration is only 6 seconds. Not really a big deal. And our power range is all the way up to 21.75. So this thing is pretty nice. And of course, when we add the Naramon features onto this, which we'll talk about later on, this setup will work wonders. Okay, so now we're off of that. Now over to, where are you, Oberon? I know people are going to say a few things about Oberon here, but okay, Oberon, let's take a look here. Our setup. Okay, again, we're using Cunning Drift in here. I did make a couple changes around. So, Energy Siphon and Cunning Drift, I want the power range increased. So that brings my power range up a little bit higher to a 106. Transient Fortitude with the Intensify. Remember, I brought this up from what used to be 40% to now 50%, so I got an extra 10% in strength in here. So I'm happy with 180%. You can bring that up higher if you don't want to use Cunning Drift. The other one that I did utilize, let me just show you, where is it? It is the Power Max, the Endurance Drift. No, not the Power Max. What am I saying? Oh my gosh! It's the Power Drift, the Power Strength. But in this case, we're using the Cunning Drift. Okay, so we're going to get our range. We're going to increase our range, so we're back over 100% here. Sure-footed, I am keeping this on because I love to melee run with Oberon, and I want the 60% chance to resist knockdown. Now, the other thing you can do, and I did do this, which is what we just talked about, is Power Drift. Let's say you're not too concerned about the chance to knock down. You can do that. You're going to get 195% power strength increase by having both. You can utilize both. Yes, you can. But you're only going to have a 30% chance to resist knockdown. For me, I want the 60% chance to knock down. I'll take the 15% difference in power strength. I'm still gaining 10% from what I used to have anyway, so I'm happy with that. Vitality is where I'm sticking at. Prime Continuity for my duration increase. Arrow-minded for my duration increase. I've got Stretch, and Stretch along with that. Cunning Drift, as you know, is putting us over there. Prime Flow for the max I can get on my power. And our efficiency is 100%. I'm happy with that. I can still spam his ultimate when I need to, but this setup just works, especially if you want to run melee. That 60% right there, that 60% is a beautiful thing. Now, the other thing I did take out, I know I did, was Rapid Resilience. but you can live without rapid resilience with this setup. If you can't live without rapid resilience and you still want to make it a powerful thing, the only other thing that I would say at this point, and I've tried it this way too, but let's go and find it here just so you can see. Rapid resilience right there is, you know, maybe pull out stretch or maybe swap out short footage and put rapid resilience in there. So I would go ahead and potentially do this if I'm running gun instead of running melee. I'm going to go ahead and put rapid resilience in there, and at 10 it's going to give me a 62.5% status duration decrease basically. So that's the way that works, but for now, short-footed. There's my setup for Forma Oberon. It is what it is. We'll just take a quick look over here at his stuff. Okay, as you can see, we got Smite with 900 initial damage. We got 10 orbs, 270 damage on the orbs. We got 1325 meter range on the orb range, and the power range itself is 53 meters. Beautiful the way that is. Armor increase on the Hologround. I'm using the Hologround. Remember, the Hologround also stops a lot of our stuff, so it debuffs enemies, okay, and they can't get knocked down and stuff like that with this, so it's always good to have Hologround running. So armor increase 36, damage 180, fire length 8 with 3 meters, power duration 41 seconds. This is great if you take off the short-footed and you put, like, say, rapid resilience or something else in there. You're going to use a lot of hallowed ground. 41 second hallowed ground duration is perfect at that point, okay, because you can stand on that. You're not going to take all of that damage. You're not going to take all the AoE attacks that come at you because it's all blocked by this, debuffed, if you will. Renewals coming in really nice. We're getting 92.7% bleed out reduction, or slowing, okay. Energy per second is only 243, not bad. Heal over time is 4.85 seconds. We're going to, in 4.85 seconds, you're going to heal 720 health, with the initial heal being a 225. Overall, really good in that case, in my opinion, so it does work out. The only thing that this is people have to say something, or you have to be always constantly looking at their health on the upper corner of the screen, so that way you can know when to hit this, because it does have travel time. Reckoning, blind duration is now 8.24 seconds, which is a beautiful thing. The range is 4.24 meters, not bad. Damage is 2250. Our health orb drop rate is still 0.5, and our power range is 15.9 meters. So it all works out well. We're all in the green. We're running good. Solid setup, and a couple tweaks that can be done anytime that you want. Okay, continuing on. Equip. Now, Rhino Prime, I ran him the other day. Where are you, Rhino Prime? Okay, and Oberon has the Matarai, I'm sorry. Rhino Prime has the Unirai on him, okay, and this is the setup that I ran the other day in the 80-100, and it was pretty successful. Actually, I ran all the daily sorties in it, so I was pretty happy with it. It does require some upgrades and changes to it still. As you can see, I haven't even unlocked the Itzal slot, but still charges the way I'm going to go, because most of the time with Rhino, I am meleeing. Redirection, intensified transient fortitude. Okay, transient fortitude right here. We could actually increase this right now while I have you guys on here, just so that you understand. Come up here. Boom. Okay, it's not going to affect our duration too much. It's 5% more loss. We're getting 10% power strength increase. So we're keeping that. We got our prime continuity on her. That's nice to have a little duration on it. Steel fiber, streamline, prime flow, stretch. Real simple. Nice quality shield. We're not worried about the health because obviously iron skin will protect us, and we have a good amount of armor on here as well. And then whatever we do with the Itzal slot, which is still be undetermined, but I do have the Unirai on here. However, when you do go to rank up a Warframe or a weapon that has the focus lens on it, you will not gain any focus affinity on that as you are re-ranking it back to 30. It has to be at max rank 30 in order for that to happen, but we'll just go ahead and take a quick look at his abilities over here, just so you can see where we set up. We set up pretty well, I think, overall. Yes, there are some tweaks that can easily be done to it, but I think overall, for me, I'm pretty happy with it, the way I run him when I do run him. So, combo windows, 1.25 seconds. Our damage is 1170. Our power range in meters is 2.9. Our power range, again, here, is 17.4 with a speed of 48. Ferrite armor is 4635 with a 3-second invulnerability. I know this can get much higher depending upon how you set them up, and that's entirely up to you, your personal taste. You know, no wrong way that you can do it as long as it fits you. Roar is coming in at the 1.9 multiplier to 37.5 duration with 36.25 meter range, so you can definitely get your team with the Roar for the most part the way I've set it up, and it lasts pretty long time, so you're going to get that extra damage multiplier. Rhino Stomp, 1440 damage with 10-second duration. Again, the range is nice 36.25, and our speed increase is 97.5. These are all beautiful setup numbers for me, as I would say, and the only thing that was going to change is what I would do with the Itzal slot at this point. Okay, and as we move on, Zephyr is where I was running the other day as well. I had Zephyr out. Okay, she's not a perfect build, I'll tell you that right now. She has that last one, the Vazarin, on her right now. Energy Siphon, no unlocked Itzal slot. It's all about health with her. Okay, it's all about the health, and we can block in-camo damage, so we're not too concerned. Prime continuity, of course. Streamline. Okay, efficiency, vitality on here, all about the health. Stretch for the range, which you can do or not do. If you take this out, it's actually going to make your ultimate a little bit better to some extent, because with the range on it, it's also going to stretch out the range of your tornadoes. So if you take this off and you're just at 100% range, it's actually not a bad thing. Constitution here for the recovery and extra power duration is how I currently have it set up. Flow, Intensify. I've got an okay power strength, and I'm utilizing Jetstream, or I did utilize Jetstream in this, which was the extra projectile speed and from the turbulence. And you're going to use turbulence all the time anyway to block a lot of that projectile incoming and get that damage back on enemies. So this is something that I like to have. Yes, we can make some more changes, and I'm sure Zephyr herself is going to have a few more changes coming down the road. I just wanted to get this out to you so you can see what I did utilize in these sortie missions. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and take a quick look over here. Abilities, just so you can see it. So we've got everything in the green, everything's looking good. Air damage 325, air range 2.9 meters, jump is 22 meters, jump damage 325 again. Our jump range is 10 meters. This is a beautiful thing with Tailwind, let me tell you. You can get across the map with this if you do it right. Dive Bomb 325, power range is 10 meters with our speed of 6.5. This is pretty decent. It's enough to knock them back and get them out of the way and get things going. Turbulence, you're going to be using all the time, or just get out of my way. Power duration 35 seconds. That's a nice duration to have. Could increase it higher, but I'm happy with 35 seconds. Shield range of 8.7 meters. Not meters, 8.7, whatever it is, right around Zephyr. So it's always good to have this redirecting the incoming projectiles. Doesn't redirect everything, keep that in mind, but it will redirect most. Tornado, of course, like I said, so our damage per second is 156. Our power duration is another 35 seconds. Our range here, this is the one thing I struggle with, is the 3625 is great in some maps, not good in others, but we get the max 4 tornadoes right now on this setup. So again, comments, questions on that. So those are the 5 that I've got set up there. We're going to select the mode. We're going to come over to Arcwing because I said I was going to do it. Itzal, here we go. Here's where I'm at with Itzal. This is the setup that I've used. Pay no attention to health, power, shield, because we're talking, it looks like it's down, but it's actually not really down. That's the difference between, there we go. Here's your base. Here's what it looks like now, because that was a Warframe setup. So there we go. So we're going to run superior defenses for the shield recharge, enhanced durability for our health, of course. I'm going to run shield capacity, energy inversion. System reroute, power efficiency. I would love to take this one up all the way, but it's not a huge difference, 40% to 50%. I mean, it's a big difference, but nothing that's going to really affect me in the overall setup of how I run this. Energy amplifier for our power range. Cannot stress, this is very important to have power range. Efficiency transferal for our duration. Of course, it's always good to have a nice duration on here, especially when we're talking about the abilities, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Prime Morphic Transformer for power strength. I've got a Prime. You can just put a regular one on here. 20% there. Prime's at 30%. Obviously, once I get things set up, I will put Forma into this, and as you can see, another Matter Eye lens on here, and we'll drop this power strength up there really, really extremely high. And then auxiliary power. A Power Max is very efficient, very important on Itzal, the way Itzal works. In general, taking a look at the ability setups. Okay, as you can see, we're all here nice in the green. Blink, love this thing. Got a power range of 160 meters in a blink. It's a beautiful thing. Stun range is 80 meters. Stun time is 19.5 seconds. So almost 20 seconds of stun time. If you blink, the enemies get stunned within this range. Okay, we got Penumbra. This is your cloaking. I use it sometimes, but I don't need to use it as much these days as I used to, now that it's all ranked up. But we got 2.31 energy per second, so it's very efficient per se. We can make this a little more efficient down the road if we wanted to. Power range is 30.4 meters. Okay. Cosmic Crush and Fighter Escort are where we're utilizing most of this, and you can just do damage beast hell with this. And we got our damage explosion 1950. Explosion range is 56 meters. Power range of 56 meters. This thing just sucks everything in. Keep in mind, so mods, energy, heals, health orbs, everything comes in. So once you get into a position where, let's say you're in a mobile defense and you're using your fighter escorts as explosion damage as protection against things, you can just start spamming in your Cosmic Crush, and you're going to bring all that stuff in. Your teammates stay close to you. They're able to gather all of the energy and everything as well because they're pretty close to you, and you're just doing massive damage. I've had many people quit missions that I've been running with because I can just blow them away in terms of damage numbers, and they just get bored. And then, of course, Fighter Escort. Okay, 3250 explosion damage. This is what happens when the time runs out. They explode. Okay, keep that in mind. Explosion range is 64 meters, so these things will cause a mass explosion and take out enemies that are around that haven't been hit with that Cosmic Crush that you're spamming. Number of drones, 10, which is a beautiful thing, and their duration is 39 seconds. Cannot go wrong. That's how I have this set up the first time anyone's ever seen this. If you have comments and questions about these 6 setups, please do feel free to leave them below. Again, everything is subject to change. And stay tuned as I go back on other frames as well. We'll go ahead and talk about some of those. Till then, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys soon.